What inspired you to work with military?
The lack of education and care that is taken by most agents when handling these size of assets is insane to me. I take my job very seriously, like very seriously. I'm their fiduciary. It's my job to look out for their financial best interests.
I'm a Marine Corps vet. I feel like that community has always been underserved. And unfortunately, the military doesn't do a great job of setting our military up for success on the outside world. Jasmine and Kirsten, I am so stoked to have you guys on today. I appreciate you a ton for being here. As you know, I'm Jake Smoke, got my own real estate team here in Southern California. But I wanted to bring you both on board and talk about your real estate team, your real estate company, the Hawaii Home Group based in Hawaii.
Yeah, that's us. Thank you so much for having us.
I guess let's start it off. Tell me a little bit about yourselves. Now, normally I just have one other person on the other end, but there's two of you, and you guys make an awesome real estate team. So tell me a little bit more about your team and how you guys got started there in Hawaii.
I feel like the first thing is like we always get called yin and yang, and like we're this perfect partnership. So we do love that part of our business model because we were friends first. We became best friends on our last real estate team, and we ended up doing some deals 50-50, and we're like, this just is way more fun and
helps with work-life balance because like you can actually go on vacation and really go on vacation because
like they turn their phone off.
Because you have someone else to lean on, right?
Yeah. Yep. So I mean, you have to find the right person, a similar work ethic as you, and whether that is that it's a hobby, like it. Not that I think real estate could be a hobby to me, but if you are someone that just like they have that same similar cadence with how they want their real estate business to be, we are both very gung ho, very active agents, and so we really mesh really well in that. So I 100% trust if I step away, Jasmine will be there and she's not going to let anything fall through the cracks.
And vice versa. And it's like a really nice thing to have.
Yeah.
But a little bit about me, I moved to the island almost 10 years ago, met my husband here, and have been in real estate since 20. I can't remember if it's 18 or 19, and I should know, but I don't.
It's all good.
I'm like a big dog person. That's all I do. I have 3 dogs. So if you ask me what my hobbies are, it's taking my dogs to the beach. Like that's literally what brings me the most joy in the world. And then I practice real estate and hang out with my family. Like that's really Oh, and I read a lot. I'm a big nerd. Like I love a good fantasy romance book. So that's my genre. If I'm not hanging out with the dogs, if it's raining, I'm probably reading.
That's something exciting, right? Exciting to you. It's not boring, all facts. It's an exciting topic. So it gets you, expands your mind.
Oh yeah. Like I'm head first into an author right now, enjoying it very much. So I've tried like to convert all of my friends.
I'm over the conversion.
All right. No kids, just husband, dogs, right?
Just dogs.
Family.
Just
okay.
Doggos, yeah.
Kirsten, what about you?
So I actually was originally an agent in Florida. My mom was an agent. And so I had gone out of college, gone into sales, was with a tech company, was with a high-end new magazine in the Orlando area, and was kind of tired of that strict 9 to 5. So my mom was like, Kirsten, I've told you, you'd be great in real estate. You should come join me. So I ended up doing that. My mom was definitely my first mentor, got me into the business. And just super fun to like get started with your mom. But eventually our broker, we switched brokerages. My mom and I actually switched together, and my broker needed a buyer's agent. And so that was really where I felt like my career kind of went to the next level. And I was super thankful for that opportunity, worked with her, took all of her buyers out. And it was just a really fun experience to like grow my business. And it was really fun too, because she let me negotiate my contract. She actually had someone in that position prior. I'm a big negotiator. So I kind of redlined like the entire agreement and was like, well, this is what would work for me. And we had a really, really good relationship. So from there, my husband and I, every time we would go on vacation, my husband would want to move to wherever we were on vacation. When we came here to actually visit some family, this was the first place that was like, I could do this. But like Jasmine, I'm a very big dog person. And so I started finding out about all the quarantine rules about getting your dog here, got very nervous. And so that was definitely like a hard line for me that A, my dog had to come, and B, he was not allowed to fly as cargo. I was able to make that work and get him over here. And yeah, now I've been here for, I think coming up on 4 or 5 years. And
2018 or 2019?
I got married in 2018, so it would have been 2019. So yeah, so July 5th of 2019, I moved to Island. And yeah, we came to buy a business. And luckily we didn't move forward with that because 9 months later, COVID hit and the business is no longer in existence. So I dodged a bullet there, but then I really missed real estate. So I actually started as the director of operations for a rather large real estate team here on Island, but missed the sales side. So ended up, and I was actually with a different brokerage and missed the sales side. And I just knew EXP model, since I just felt like where I was at in my career, it was a really, really good opportunity. And so, and that's actually, I met Jasmine when I was looking to purchase my house. And so we had stayed in contact and become friends. She was with EXP. So that's when I joined EXP and got back into the sales side.
The alignment was there, right?
Yeah.
Everything kind of fell into place. You know, the dominoes fell in the right direction, and then the alignment was there. And so that all worked out well. That's pretty awesome.
I have to tell this part of the story really quick. This girl, I sold my condo back in 2020, right before COVID. It was like COVID had not hit, but COVID ended up hitting before we closed. We closed.
Sure.
But she walked into, I did a private showing, and she was what I thought was a Facebook lead at the time. And she ended up coming in with this attitude of like, we're going to make this girl our best friend.
I told my husband before we walked in the door.
I don't even know how many other offers I had on the table, but it was a lot. It was a really great condo. We renovated it. It shined. And we had multiple over asking ridiculous offers. And I'm just trying to pick up leads at this point. So I show Kirsten and her husband, and they're like, no, we'll give you whatever you want. Like, this is our house. And I was like, I don't know.
And we're not those people. And we're not those people that just like, we're actually very frugal, very look at the numbers. But I walked in and I was like, no, this is my house. Like, we're going to figure out how to make this work.
And at this point, like, I'm already verbally negotiating with the top offer. I don't care about like this isn't real. Like, I just met this girl.
Yeah, we weren't pre-approved. We had no business. And I'm an agent. Like, I'm looking at a house and I'm not pre-approved. I mean, but I figured it out.
Okay. They ended up buying the condo. Yeah. I had another agent represent them, and we're still friends to this day. But it's so funny because she came in like, we're going to make this girl our best friend. Like, somehow we're going to win this over. She did. She won. Only because of my husband, because I was like, I don't want to sell to these people.
No, and you didn't have a pre-approval when you like.
No, they were like the hot mess express rolling in, and they were like, "We want this house. We'll pay you whatever you want." And I was like, "This is ridiculous. Like, they need to go home."
Well, that, and also, you know, you mentioned a moment ago about negotiating, right? And loving. You know, I can tell you're analytical, and you also enjoy negotiating, like, because you look at every detail, but also you're going to make it work. Even if you have things stacked against you and you don't have a pre-approval, but you're like, I'm just going to make this work, and I'm going to make this listing agent fall in love with us, so we get the house and, you know, push forward, and everything is all great. That's pretty awesome.
And as agents, especially on this island, like, that's something that I've really learned. It's all about relationships with other agents, and that is beneficial to the clients. Because a lot of times agents, and I can't tell you how many times in my career on this island, our offer actually gets accepted. They come back and say, we want to work, the seller wants to work with you guys because we've told them what a good, like, that you will get the job done, but you need to do this. Is your client willing? And so it really, creating those relationships is key. Totally,
100% agreed. Have you read the book, Never Split the Difference?
No.
It's a negotiating book.
It's on my to-be-read list.
Christopher Voss is the author. He's a retired FBI negotiator. Read the book. It's a great book. So, like, the seller love me letters, when we're working with a buyer, we're presenting something to the seller. We used to be able to do that, right? I don't know how it is in Hawaii, but we can't do that anymore.
No.
But I've always done videos. So I'll get on a video and plug here. I will put it on YouTube as an unlisted video. and then send it over to the other side. And so that listing agent sees that video talking about myself, talking about my clients, and I might have the clients do a video as well. And then they see all the other videos on YouTube and all that stuff. And so that also helps. That's another little added touch that in the past, I've had many offers accepted just by taking those extra steps.
Yeah. I just get on the phone and make the agent my best friend.
Yes.
By having like clear communication from the beginning, like, hey, I'm going to show your property and it's on my client's top 3 list. Please keep me posted. Hey, I just left the property doing the showing. I just wanted to let you know that this is still in our top 3. They're really excited about it. And then I like will over communicate it to death because I want you to know my name. So when you have 7 offers, you know, like Jasmine's offer is in there.
And her clients were very interested in this property. Like they over.
And my lender calls, like I don't submit an offer. If my lender doesn't call the listing agent, me and my lender are going to have a talking to, because I'm like, you're going to call and tell them what you can and can't do. And I want you to talk about how strong our clients are. And like, I want it to be this formal, like we are the standout.
You're talking my language, because it's amazing how many buyer's agents, when I'm representing sellers, how many, agents on the other side do not even pick up the phone and call you to talk about their offer. Like, what are you doing? Get on the phone. Tell me about what's going on. Build that rapport, right? Yeah.
That's actually a really good one that like, whenever we talk about like, we love to educate clients across the country, right? Like not just that they're going to be our client, but if they aren't going to be, like what to ask for. I think that's actually a really good one that I don't know that we've mentioned before that is so true. It'd be really good, one of those things to ask, like, what do you do to submit an offer? I think that's a really, really good as a buyer's agent when you're interviewing other realtors, ask what they do when they submit an offer and see what they say.
Yeah, because we work with so many agents. Like we do a lot of, which I'm sure you do too, anyone that's a military agent, we're referring clients across state lines all the time. You want to interview that agent to make sure like they're the best. And that's a great one that I don't think that I asked.
I agree. And I think that's so key. Like literally of getting an offer accepted.
Like you ask a ton of questions. Don't get me wrong. I interview them very thoroughly and I've done really well with like matchmaking so far. But I need to add that to my arsenal.
That's a big key point, right? What makes them stand out and what's different, right? Especially in this day. I don't do as much video as I should, but when I'm representing a client, I'm doing video messages, because I want that other side to see my face, to see who I am, other than just text.
Yeah.
Like, text is boring. So they see your body language, they see your expressions, how you're presenting yourself, and that all goes into the big picture. And they can also forward it to the other client. Right. Or to their client. That's the goal. Hopefully you get an accepted offer, or you get into a scenario where they're willing to work with you and vice versa. It's always a team effort, and you've got to make it a win-win scenario for both parties. You guys work a ton with military as well, right? So what inspired you to work with military? We're both a part of the EXP military network, but what got you started going down that path?
For me, this comes down to actually like why I probably became an agent. Here in Hawaii, it's $1 million assets. I'm going to try to get to this as quickly as I can, but more or less, we're talking about $1 million plus assets. I think some of the smallest properties we've done are about $500,000. These are large assets. The lack of education and care that is taken by most agents when handling these size of assets is insane to me. I take my job very seriously, like very seriously. I'm their fiduciary. It's my job to look out for their financial best interests, especially my young military. They don't have anyone else looking out for their best financial interests. They might be the first person in their family to purchase a home, and they really don't know what they're getting themselves into at like these price points.
Sure.
I got really passionate about not just taking care of military because my husband's military and like that was an immediate connection for me, but because I can tell you this specifically, there was a story that happened in Hawaiian, and there was a military couple that had just bought, even though they knew they were leaving in a year, they bought a $600,000 property. They didn't make enough money in that year, and they ended up being in a short sale position. And when I was talking to them, they knew that they were leaving. They were not educated and informed by their agent that they probably shouldn't purchase. Instead, they were rushed towards that transaction by the lender and the agent. And that, like, right now I'm still like getting upset about it.
Yeah, not good.
That wrecked their finances. Like they ended up declaring bankruptcy, like they had maxed out credit cards because they had to move. Like the military doesn't care if you can't sell your house. Like you're on your way to Texas, honey. Like your VAH is now a third of what it was here. And they're in this upside down situation where the rent doesn't cover the total cost of their property and they don't make enough money where they're going. And that infuriated to a point where, like, that's one of the reasons why I love being the Milnot squad leader for Hawaii. I take great pride in that because it's my job to educate, inform, and give people tools. And when we're talking about being an agent, yes, sales are fun, but at the end of the day, like, a home is such a huge thing. This is not selling someone something they can like just foreclose on. Like you could ruin their entire lives with these purchases. And they're extremely large. To sell a penny stock, to sell stocks, the kind of licensing that you need is huge. So then in real estate, the fact that you can take like a month-long course and then go sell like $2 million worth of assets that can upturn someone's life is insane to me. Our military, the fact that their pay is so leveraged on where they get stationed here in Hawaii is usually their largest purchase. Like we have the
Which can be a good thing.
There can be,
If it's done the right way.
It's done the right way.
If they have time, right? So you got to look at the big picture. And obviously that lender, that realtor previously, they didn't care nor look at it or pay attention to it, whatever it was. They didn't look at the big picture. They didn't look at the long-term effects, right?
Right.
I've run into scenarios like that as well. And then also on the selling side, in my own community, my own neighborhood, in the past maybe year and a half, I've talked to 3 of my neighbors, not all like direct neighbors, but people live in my community. I've talked 3 of them out of selling their house. And I said, hey.
We joke that we're bad listing agents. We do that because we walk into a listing appointment and we are like, is there any way possible for you to hold on to this asset?
Yes.
We don't ask them like, why are you looking to sell, in terms of like, we want to know your motivation so we can speak to it during a listing appointment, which is what they teach us as salespeople to do. I'm like, no, I want to know why you have to sell, because if I can solve that problem, then you don't have to sell. I want to solve that problem, not by doing a sale, but by giving you other tools and other information to empower you to keep this asset.
And we're not property managers. So we have no, literally, I mean, we'll make
no skin in the game
on referral, but that's it.
Yeah. You know, because these clients, they would have a 2.5%, 3%, maybe 3.5% interest rate. It's like, guys, you're only paying, when you bought the house, 6-7 years ago, your mortgage is only, let's say $2,000 a month, and you can rent it for $4,500 a month.
Yeah.
Like, if you can swing it and make it happen, rent it out. Yes, I would love to sell your house, but doesn't really make sense. Yeah, that's huge. With our backgrounds being a part of the military community and working with the military community, I'm a Marine Corps vet. I feel like that community has always been underserved. And unfortunately, the military doesn't do a great job of setting our military up for success on the outside world, right?
Correct.
And giving them the tools and the knowledge to fight through these types of scenarios. And so they've really got to have a champion in their corner to represent them to the fullest and the best possible, because that's what we've got to do. Yeah.
Yeah. And I will say that's something that since joining up with Jasmine, I'm a civilian, so I did not have, I'm going to have aunts and uncles and my grandfather who have served, but no one in my direct family. But when you move to this island, we have the most military bases per square mile of anywhere in the country. I think anywhere in the world. Every single military branch is represented on this island, including Space Force. So you really have to get to know you have to get to know the VA loan very well. But for me, even past that, it was getting to know Jasmine and her husband and all of that, like seeing what they go through. It is not an easy career. I think there's some perks to it, but it is not easy. It's very difficult on the families. And so seeing all of that and wanting to not just, there's an opportunity for agents there, but really more than that, it's like wanting to learn about the VA loan and all of the ins and outs of it. And this girl just has she knows so much about the VA loan that I've learned so much from her. So it's just really, really cool to see what you can do, how you can leverage that VA loan, that benefit to your advantage to actually start. I mean, I really believe home ownership is the fastest, easiest way in this country to build wealth. And that VA loan really helps with that first step. So
it's huge, especially out here, like no one else, because it happens all the time. I'm like, being 22 and somebody gives you a $500,000 loan. when the hell does that happen? For no money.
Right.
But it does. It happens every day here in Hawaii. No money, and you can have $500,000.
And we both live in beautiful locations, San Diego for myself, you guys Hawaii, but also very expensive locations. You just mentioned the price points, right? Most homes in both of our markets are starting at $1 million plus, right?
Yes.
And so that's a huge hurdle or stepping stone for a new homeowner to get into. But our military, they've got a lot of great, amazing benefits to be able to get money for housing. But having somebody that is experienced with the VA loan is huge. And if you're a realtor and you understand and know the VA loan like the back of your hand, you can work with anybody. But if you don't know it, you obviously aren't going to be well suited to work with that military demographic. So
in my opinion, you can represent a listing. If you don't understand the VA loan, if you're representing a listing, I can't tell you how many listing agents I've had to take the time to educate because they're like, I don't think I'll pass VA. And I'm like, let's talk about exactly why you think that. And let's see if we can't find a solution, or maybe there's a misconception, or maybe it used to be that way and it no longer is that way.
There are so many myths that have been debunked and are no longer accurate, and so many listing agents just are not informed. Let's shift gears a little bit. So let's talk about kind of the natural beauty of Hawaii and maybe some top 3 destinations, because I want to make this fun and exciting too, right? So I've never been to Hawaii. Right. So what would you recommend are top 3 like attractions, whether it's outdoors or not, for somebody coming inbound to Hawaii?
Yeah. So my first tip, if you're coming to Hawaii, I recommend trying to make it to at least 2 islands. Reason being is that each island has its own flair, its own culture. It's honestly its own even like ecosystem. And it's just, each island's super, super cool. It has its own vibes. So each island has its own flair, has its own, like, it's just amazing to go to the different islands. So I definitely think on Oahu. So that's where we are located, where we're based. And this is where most military, if they're moving to Hawaii, they're going to be moving to the island of Oahu. There are a few bases on the other islands, but most of them are here. And so on Oahu, things to do. We definitely love, Jasmine lives in Kaneohe, and you have the sandbar. So if you can get onto a boat, make it out to the sandbar. It's just such a fun day on the water. Obviously it's the sandbar, so you are able to like stand directly on sand and just enjoy the day. You have the beautiful Ko'olau Mountains in the background.
And if you're military, you have to take a quick course. So depending on how long you're really here for, you can rent a pontoon boat, but only military can, any veterans, etc. So that's kind of cool, because otherwise it's a little bit more difficult to charter a boat on the windward side, which is where the sandbar is. Waikiki, super easy. Like there's a bunch of businesses running over there, but there's less commercial space on this side. So it's definitely more difficult. So majority of the population on the sandbar is either super local or military.
How big is a sandbar? Is it like, what are we talking here? When I think of a sandbar, like, a couple feet.
No.
We're talking a football field? We're talking a small island?
It's a couple acres. I would say it's
at least a football field size.
Oh, it's larger than that.
Yeah.
Several football fields. Yeah. I feel like it has to be something like, when I'm thinking of Queen Emma, it's like 8 acres. I would say it's at least 4 acres.
Yeah.
Like 4 acres.
And like,
that's huge.
Yeah, it's massive. And you just anchor your boats along it, and it's like a big party.
Yeah. So you get on, so you go on base, on the marine base, and then you get the boat from there, and then you can drive it out to the sandbar and just hang for the day.
I think we're taking one out this coming weekend.
I think it's a late birthday present for me.
Okay. Sounds like a spot where Marines are very familiar with probably getting in trouble and doing the typical Marine Corps, the Marine Corps stuff, what they do. Okay.
Legally, there's no alcohol allowed on the boats.
We know how that goes.
So that's one thing. Another really cool thing to do on Oahu is the Polynesian Cultural Center. If you're going to move here, I think it's really important. Honestly, anyone, if you're moving, especially from the mainland, Hawaii is its own unique culture. And so I think it's really important to immerse yourself in the culture when you move someplace, whether you're military or civilian, just to get to know the customs, things like that.
And be respectful because you're moving into a different culture.
Yeah.
Sure,
So
sure.
the Polynesian Culture Center is a really cool thing to go experience. You learn not just about Hawaiian Islands and the Hawaiian Nation, but you actually learn about several different Polynesian islands and their customs and history and things like that. So super fun. And then they also do a luau at night, which is really cool.
One of the
with
best
dinner.
luau's on it.
Yeah. So really fun one. So those are the two things I recommend on Oahu.
Besides hike everything you can find. Like get
I'm all
your
about that.
trail map. I have a few favorite hikes, but then you don't have to hike like miles upon miles to get to a waterfall here. You might only have to hike 1.5 miles to see like a massive waterfall, like Ulumahu.
Okay.
I think that's a 3-mile like round trip hike, and that's over 100-foot waterfall. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
So
crazy.
there's so much to do that you don't have to. So the two things we brought up, Cuneo Sandbar and Polynesian Culture Center, obviously there's money involved with that. But I would say in general, like if we have a really good saying here that Kirsten says a lot, but there's so much free stuff to do. Like the beach is free. I paid a beach tax, like go pick up trash for at least 5 minutes while you're there. Like if you are like going to the beach, like the beaches and the hikes are they're plentiful. You could hike every weekend the entire year and you would not run out of hikes.
Yeah.
It's really
Yeah,
fun.
that's what I enjoy doing. I have an outdoors background, what I enjoy doing. So I definitely got to make it out there sometime.
You won't be disappointed. If you like a really
Good.
hard hike, Coco Head Crater is known to be.
It's not a hike, that's a Stairmaster.
It's a lot.
That's what I was going to ask. Is that the one to go the stairs all the way up to like top of the world, like highest point type of thing?
Oh
No, I think that's Stairway to Heaven.
That's Stairway to Heaven.
Which is actually illegal to do now, and they're
Yes.
trying to take them away.
They are going to tear them down, I think, in the next
Oh,
year.
really?
Technically illegal. It has always been illegal for like it's been illegal for a long time.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
it still get hiked probably every day.
Yeah.
Yep.
But then
Yep.
Coco Head Crater is railroad ties up to a pillbox.
Okay.
But it is basically, and just like railroad ties on the way down, I honestly was
You
more
like
nervous.
almost crawl on the way down.
You have to crawl on your
Because
butt. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You have like steps that are like probably this wide apart,
if not
Okay.
farther.
and it's straight down like 30 feet. If you miss, it's a little.
Then you're just rolling.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, you see little kids doing it, and you see the guys that are just like super fit and have
And
like backpacks on, like
yeah.
weights, and they're like, "Yeah, I do this
Right.
3 times a day." I'm like, "Yeah,
Yeah, no, that's not great for your knees. Like that's all I can think is like, oh my dear God.
But if you want one that's just like gonna kick your butt, you're gonna be super proud of yourself on vacation. It's one you get really great views of that.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are like, I can do it in less than 20 minutes. I got
Oh
this.
my gosh.
Nuts.
Okay. It sounds like fun, but you're definitely going to be sore the next day. Sitting, drinking Mai Tais on the beach, just sleeping the following day.
Yes,
Oh my
exactly.
gosh.
And there's different
Okay.
things on the other islands, but I know we've talked about a lot of things
Sure.
to do. But
Well-
every island has their fun stuff.
Let's talk about restaurants and then also like any little unique shopping experiences, right?
There's so much good food here.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
one of the cool things, I'm gonna let Kirsten go into like all of the specifics, but I think the biggest thing is Hawaii is a true melting pot. So I would say that we're similar in the fact that like New York City, you can find every culture there. In
Yep.
Hawaii, you can find every culture here. So if I wanted to go eat good Thai food, I can find good Thai food. If I wanted to find good Chinese food, 100%, you want to find, like, you can find anything and everything.
Especially Asian.
If it's Asian
food.
cultural, like you're gonna get some of the best here. So even
Sure.
like
Okay.
also there's good Italian food.
Yeah.
But like there's literally every culture represented here, which I think is just so cool and so unique. But Kirsten she's definitely
I'm a
more of a
foodie.
foodie.
I'm the foodie for sure. Jasmine will talk
Love
about
it.
it for shopping. Because she has some really cool spots, especially for like home stuff.
Yeah.
But for me, number one Mai Tai on island is from Monkey Pod. It's the same restaurant group. It's either Monkey Pod, Merriman's, or Moku.
Yeah.
They
Okay.
do this Mai Tai that is delicious. And then on top, they do what's called a lilikoi foam. So lilikoi is actually passion fruit, but in Hawaiian we call it lilikoi. So right on top of that, and it is delicious at all of their different restaurants. So there's one right in Honolulu, like town, like proper Honolulu in the Kaka'ako area. If you're coming to visit, you're probably going to be in Waikiki. They just opened a location there that I actually haven't been to yet. I'm super excited because they actually have a breakfast. So their food is phenomenal. I love going for, again, another Hawaiian word, pupus, P-U-P-U. That is what we call our appetizers. So they really, really good pupus. And then they also have one, if you come and you're going over to like the Disney area over in Ko'olina, they have a location over there as well. So that's my tie on island is from that restaurant group.
And they'll have really affordable like pupus. So it's very often here that you would just go for a happy hour, or pauhana is what we call it. And that's just drinks and apps. And pauhana means work over.
I also really like Poke Stop, which is actually located in the center of island. So if you're in Mililani, so if you're headed up to the North Shore one day or on your way back, Jasmine's sighing because I know she's already thinking about her coffee shop. So up there you have Poke Stop, really, really good poke. And then they have this chicken, and I've learned a lot of words here. They have katsu? No, it's tagu. I can't pronounce it. It starts with a T, but it's their chicken. They're like fried chicken, and it's really, really good. It's not katsu. But Poke Stop is a really good one. And then we also up there on your way. So do that on your way home from the North Shore, but on your way to North Shore, definitely stop by Surfer's Coffee. It's our favorite coffee shop on island, and it's in a kind of small little quaint town called Wahiawa. Right as you're going up to the North Shore, you'll literally pass it on your way.
And there's little boutiques there too. So like if you're driving through Wahiawa, there's two parts of Wahiawa, but if you drive through the center of Wahiawa, you're going to get a bunch of little boutique shops that are locally owned. And you're also going to find two of my favorite places. One of them is Surfer's Coffee Shop. You have to get the mochi waffle.
Ooh, sounds yummy.
Fresh strawberries, the mac nuts, and the honey. It's so good. I'm not a sweet person, but that mochi waffle is like, you will be so glad you got it. And then any of their lattes, they have an underground menu. Ask them for it. Literally some of the best coffee oh my God, so good. And then right beside there is, they've changed their name a few times, and I want to say it's Aloha Subs right now, but it's the same one that's downtown.
Stortos.
So Stortos is some of the best sandwich because they have a specific sauce that they put all over it.
It's a papaya.
The papaya seed dressing.
Yeah.
And then the bread is a little bit sweet. Like the sandwich bread is all locally made, like in their shops. And it has a little bit of sweetness to it, but not so sweet that it's like Hawaiian bread, just a little bit.
Yeah.
And you're just like, this is
really good.
Oh,
so yummy.
So good. Yeah.
And then the one other thing I highly recommend if you're doing a beach day, something that's super local, usually some like kalbi beef or bulgogi, some other couple types of meats, a couple of side dishes, and we call that plate lunch. And you just take that, you go to the beach, and that's what you have for lunch. And that's like literally the local thing to do for sure.
Yeah.
So you have rattled off some great food, great drinks like coffee, adult drinks, alcohol, great food, breakfast, lunch, dinner. I think we got all the food spots. I'm gonna have to put that in the notes.
We literally tried to keep the list small, just so you know. We didn't even say everything that's on our list. Oh, but the last thing I will say on that is when you're driving up to North Shore, because I don't want to not say this. Don't underestimate the auntie or the uncle selling food on the side of the road.
Okay.
Always stop. It is going to be so bomb. Like their fresh mango, you want their fresh mango. You want the fish because they caught it that morning. And auntie uncle is just like, that's what we call anyone over the age of like 40 is auntie uncle. And you want their food. If they're selling it on the side of the road, yes. Yeah.
That's a great little nugget of information. So thank you for that. What do you guys participate in community annual events, or what do you recommend for somebody going to the island? What's a great local event that somebody should go to?
So there always are little festivals and things around the island to do. Like literally there's beer festivals that go on. A really fun one in like the downtown Honolulu area is actually called Art After Dark.
Okay.
And it's actually done at the Art Museum. And so you can go, and it's the first Friday of every month.
Yes.
And so it's after the museum usually closes. So it's at night, and you get to go and see the art. They have drinks that you can purchase.
It's
and
a full bar.
stands.
Have you been before?
I actually haven't.
Okay, so it's like a full bar. Like it turns into a nightclub at night at the art museum.
Okay.
So there's multiple bars throughout. There's a full like dance floor. It is insane. There's local artists performing. It's so sick. Like the whole thing turns into,
That's cool.
And that's on the first Friday of every month. And they do the same type of thing where it's almost a block party in Chinatown on the first Friday of every month. So the art district comes alive. So it's a full arts weekend. But in terms of festivals in general, one of the coolest things, again, like I said, it was a melting pot. Every holiday here is like a full event.
We love to have fun on Island.
Yes. And
As you
every culture
should.
is represented. So like with every culture being represented, it's like every single holiday is a really big deal. But I will say like our biggest ones are like the Chinese New Year is obviously really large here.
Which just happened.
It just happened this year, the dragon. Everyone's really stoked.
Yep.
And then the other one is like our King Kamehameha Day. That is like a full parade and festival, and all of downtown gets shut down, and that's very local. So King Kamehameha is the one that is
United all of the islands together under one kingdom, because prior to, they were all kind of
fighting amongst each
fighting islands against each other with different kingdoms. So he
Got
is
it.
very highly regarded. And so King Kamehameha Day, there's a big statue in the downtown Honolulu, actually like a block away from my house. I'm able to walk right downstairs to go to this parade every year. And then it's right in front of the Palace, Iolani Palace, which is absolutely beautiful. And you can have tickets to actually go tour that. And it's a full walking tour with a guided tour, which is really cool. So you get to learn all about the history of the palace and the Hawaiian history as well. So
beautiful.
it's really cool. But yeah.
That's really cool. And there's so much, as you both mentioned previously, there's so much culture and so much to learn and to understand. And I've got to start getting out there and vacation out there so I can understand it, because right now I'm like, I have no idea, so I really, so thank you for that. So, I mean, you're definitely making me excited to get out there soon and check it out and definitely explore. And I have heard that before, that if you go out there to visit, try to visit more than one island, right?
Yes.
Because as you mentioned, one island has its own culture, and then others, they've got their own things going on, right?
Yeah.
So you've got to see that diversity, and you've got to see the different aspects of each island. That's pretty awesome. Back to the military community real quick. We've got our challenges here, but of course, there's even more extensive challenges heading out to Hawaii as a military personnel. Can you kind of elaborate on some of those, and maybe some great tips for our military personnel that might be PCSing out to Hawaii and the surrounding area? Like, what do they need to be aware of?
So I would say the biggest thing, as soon as you get your orders, do reach out. Obviously, we'd love it if you reached out to us, but reach out in general to whoever is going to be helping you move. We have a full PCS guide, and we also help people with their moving. We have a lot of references, etc., because moving out to an island is not an easy feat. And we want to make sure that it's something that is exciting, and it doesn't, every PCS move is honestly like really stressful, but we want to make this as fun and exciting as it can be, even though we obviously know that there's stress involved. So reach out as soon as possible. As soon as there's no thing is too early, because all you're going to do is get more information. That's always my first tip of advice. And then ask questions. There's no dumb questions, and don't assume you know the answer to anything. A lot of people, like I just had a buyer's consult, I think 3 days ago or so, and they assumed that their dog was going to have to quarantine, which is another big one that we get, but there is a 5-day or less program that people don't realize. So the dog thing is actually huge out here. Moving an animal to Hawaii is one of the more daunting things about moving to Hawaii, especially for our military, because they have no idea what to do. And it's this huge checklist, and you really think that your dog is going to get locked in a like doggy jail for like 100 days. Like, it's really stressful, but your dog does not have to go through that as long as you know what to do.
Right.
You follow the guide. So,
and we actually have a full blog post about this as well. So if you have any questions in getting an animal to Hawaii, we've both done it.
And we'll hold your hand because we don't want your dog to be in doggy jail. So like we will literally hold your hand throughout the entire process.
And that's huge because the military community, most of us have pets, have animals. We have to have those companions, especially for the spouse that might be left at home while the other spouse goes on deployment, so having a dog and pets at home it's a big item, especially in the military community.
Yeah,
it's huge. And then the other biggest thing is obviously like the price difference is very dramatic.
Right.
For people that are even people coming from San Diego, because they are still used to getting double wall construction with a little bit of a yard. And that's just like not happening here. You're going to get single wall construction. There's no AC. And it will be $1 million. You
get that natural humid breeze, open the windows, and hope for the best.
Yeah. And different parts of Ireland have different microclimates, we call it. Sure. So every part of Ireland has its own kind of feel or the household. So depending on what you're looking for, if you really do want that newer construction double wall with AC, it exists. And it's over in Eva Beach. So there is options. It's actually a little bit more affordable over there. But caveat to that is Eva, it's one of the last areas to kind of be developed because it's known to be one of the hottest areas on island. So you're going to be running that AC. And we actually have the most expensive electricity in the country.
I think it's per kilowatt. We now it's 38 cents.
So it comes with a trade-off. So you have to make sure just whenever you're looking, have the conversation with your realtor about like what your lifestyle is, what you want when you live here in Hawaii, and make sure that you try to follow that, but then be willing to make some concessions. Because the saying that Jasmine mentioned earlier that I really love is that while the necessities are expensive, the luxuries are free. So if you really embrace the culture here, you go do those hikes, you're on the beach every weekend, that's all free. It's just the necessities are a little on the pricier side.
So that's where we talk about that shift in like what the expectations are. I think that on the mainland, a lot of times when we have consults with people, they're like, well, I don't want it to exceed my BAH. And I'm like, I don't have that option.
Right. Available. That's not feasible. It's not realistic.
Or the temporary rate buy down, but I want you to understand where it's going to end up, etc. When I tell people to look at their housing expenses, we remind them that the necessities are expensive, but the luxuries are free. You're not doing the same things that you are on the mainland. Like on the mainland, what you do is, I need to go out to a restaurant, or I need to go do this on the weekends. Like you're always spending money when you leave the house.
Yes.
On the mainland. You don't do that here. I bought a 6-pack yesterday when I went to the beach. I spent $15 and I was at the beach all day playing fetch with my dog. And I still have half that in my fridge right now. But like, that's literally, so you're not spending the same kind of money that you do on the mainland because you're doing a lot more free activities. When your friends want to hang out, they'll ask you if you want to go to the beach, you want to go on a hike. A lot of people cook at home here. Like we're not really going out to eat a lot. So your housing expense sometimes is closer to 50 to 60% of your take home pay, not the normal 30 that it is on the mainland, which is a huge adjustment for a lot of people to get behind because it is that change in lifestyle.
Well, I would be down for that because San Diego, where I live in the northern part of San Diego County, right next to Camp Pendleton, and just it always feels like a rat race where everybody is racing from one shopping experience to the next. We're just so busy. Everybody's on the road. Traffic is crazy. So personally, I'm ready for something a little bit slower. That's down the road.
Yeah, come visit. Yeah. It's definitely slower here. Our maximum speed limit, I think, is 60 on the entire island.
Really?
There's nowhere you can go over 60 miles an hour.
Okay. That's like the minimum speed limit here. People are always, it's crazy. So tell me about a funny story that you have in your adventures of real estate.
I think my funniest one, mine's very embarrassing.
Okay. You willing to share?
One that I don't. Well, this is a rookie mistake. I used the bathroom at a property that had the water turned off.
Oh, whoops. Yep.
Yeah, completely turned off. And it
I
was not
always flush the toilet before Yep.
Yeah,
Always
I
test it.
you know to do that, but
Yeah.
it was an urgent situation, and then
Yes, I get it.
I did not. So there's my funny story, and you can read into that as well, you please, but I'm not going to comment any further.
No, I totally get it.
I think mine is a little embarrassing as well, just more so because I was in front of a client. So I go to do a final walkthrough.
Actually, we're going to tell the story where you got locked out of the house.
Oh, that one's funny too.
She has all of the random stuff.
I do a lot of our showings, to be honest. So my one for my home inspection. So I go for the, not home inspection, the final walkthrough. So I'm going to the final walkthrough. I'm with the client. They have PCS from San Diego, actually. And I helped the wife originally. She's actually the military service member. And so I had helped her pick the house. She'd gone back to San Diego, and now her husband's on island. So he hadn't seen the house. It was his first time. So I'm walking him through it as well. And then we're doing the final walkthrough. One thing we always do is obviously final walkthroughs, make sure a tree hasn't fallen on it, make sure there's no floods. So we always go and like check all of the toilets, make sure they flush, nothing's happening. We turn on all of the water faucets, make sure there's no new active leaks. And so I'm going to turn on the shower. No water's coming out of the shower. Like water's coming out of the sink, toilets are flushing, but I cannot get any. I'm like, this isn't acceptable. Like you're moving in tomorrow. Like we need to make sure this works. Or in 3 days, actually.
What's going on?
Really long closing process. But so yeah, what would it turn on? Wouldn't turn on. So then I go to the home inspection and say, okay, was this noted? Did my home inspector miss this? We have a really good home inspector. So I was like, there's no way he missed this. But let's just go see. And sure enough, there's a photo there that he took with the water running. So I'm like, okay, it was working then. So then she calls me and she's like, oh my God, Jasmine. What do I do? The water won't turn on in the shower. What do I do? I'm freaking out. And I'm like, so I'm going around the house. I'm trying to find the water agent. She calls the home inspector. She's calling everybody and their sister. And meanwhile, while I'm doing this, the buyer goes and walks into the shower. He just pulls a little bit harder and it turns right on. So I don't know. I guess I need to go to the gym a little bit more or something. But so he was like, Kirsten, it turned on just fine.
It's all good. It's all good. Sometimes you have those days, right? You're like, damn it.
Yeah. It keeps it funny. It keeps it light. The buyer just thought it was hilarious, and at least I got him a little extra entertainment as part of the buying process.
That's great. And that makes it exciting, and you've always got stories to tell, right? You know, we're all human. Things happen, mistakes are made, and that's the life that we play in real estate. It keeps us on our toes for sure. So 2 things that come to mind for me is when I was doing a home inspection, and I think the home inspector was upstairs. So my home inspector, he always fills up the bathtub, right? And often bathtubs aren't really used all that often. Well, the shower part is, but not necessarily the bathtub. He puts a stopper and so fills up the bathtub. And then after it fills up, he releases it. And I'm downstairs on the phone. Next thing I know, water starts coming through the LED outlet, the recessed lighting, the can lighting, and water's coming down like a waterfall. And I'm like, I gotta let you go. Hey, Casey, we've got a shower downstairs in the kitchen, and it shouldn't be doing this. And so,
what are you doing?
And so, long story short, like I guess that drain or the pipe that was connected to that tub, and I guess it was a spare bathroom, so it had rarely been used. I guess the seals were shot or something happened, and so that water came down. A full bathtub full of water came down and basically flooded the downstairs.
Oh my
Not good.
God.
Not good. I've got stories for days too. I had a buyer fall through a ceiling once. Yeah.
That actually reminds me, I fell through a floor one time in Florida.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
The things you run into is history.
My own client, my buyer, he wanted to see what the home inspector was looking at up in the attic, and not the smartest tool in the tool belt, and didn't step on the joist and fell right through the drywall. Spent the next day and a half getting that fixed.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you end up paying for that? How did you get that fixed?
between myself and the home inspector, we got it fixed. We got a contractor out there. Luckily, the hole wasn't very big, but we had to clean up the mess. And luckily, my client didn't break anything or injure himself.
Yeah. Did he
He
buy the
literally
property though?
he bought the property.
So that's
He-
good. It would have been worse if he was like, I don't even
We're
want
like,
it in.
Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, this happened, but the buyer still wants the home, so we're good.
That's hysterical.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Some good times in real estate. So I want to finish by thanking you guys both for being on. And when I have clients that come out to Hawaii, I'm definitely going to shoot them your direction. But anybody that's going to see this recording on YouTube and any other platform, how can they get a hold of you?
You can just pick up the phone and call us or text us. Our
Okay.
phone number is 808-400-6907. And then we're at High Home Group or Hawaii Home Group on all of our Instagram handles as well.
Okay.
And our dogs have broken
They've
inside.
broken it. They were
I
locked
love
out
it.
of the yard. They just got snuck in.
I love it. My kiddos, my family just got home, so my dogs might run upstairs as well.
Oh, goodness.
Are you military veteran, active duty, or retired? Hit me up. Click the link attached in the profile, and I'll connect you with the right realtor. Doesn't matter what state, doesn't matter if they're in another country. I've worked with military professionals that know the military, that know what we have gone through, have walked the walk, and have talked the talk. Click the link, and I'll get you connected with them. I'll also send you my PCS relocation guide for free. Click the link. Let me help you out. Let me get you connected with the right person with the right resources, no matter what state or country.